Welcome, Andy Collins here for Magic Crafts. Today we're creating this Happy New Year card. Let's go over the products I used to create this card. We used the Kaleidacolor Ink pad, and this is in Blue Breeze. Our Versamark Embossing ink. Magic Crafts Emboss powder in Shimmering Night Sky. This is a beautiful blend of blues and silver touches. And then we have the IrResistible in silver. This has all the mica on the bottom, so make sure you give it a nice good shake before you use it. We're going to use our On Point glue and our tear tape. Our On Point glue we're going to use to adhere our little gems here. And those are from Trinity stamps. So, and again our tear tape to play our card together. Our embossing tool, anti-static tool I should say, and we're going to use the Maker's Movement Sarcastic New Year stamp set. We're just going to use the Happy New Year, the two bursts of fireworks, and one of the sentiments for the inside. We have a top folding A2 heavyweight 110 card base in white, 80-pound navy cardstock. This is the same size as our card base. We have Rinea foil paper in Starstruck in silver. And this is a thin specialty paper, and it's foiled on both sides. And I don't know if you can pick up those little stars that's within our paper. And then I have here 65 weight gray cardstock, light gray. And that's what we'll be doing all our stamping and embossing on. So let's get started on our project. We're going to start with our fireworks right here, these two images. One is a little bit larger than the other, so I'll place the larger one towards the bottom left and the smaller one towards the top right. I'm going to have them here on my stamping platform. And I'm going to bring in our Kaleidacolor in the Blue Breeze for this. Now, the Kaleidacolor has a variety of inks in one ink pad. To bring them together, you just slide the mechanism over. You can stamp them separate like that, or you can just slide them together and you have all the colors together. I'm going to slide them together, and I'm going to use part of the ink pad on one of the snowflakes, one of the starbursts or fireworks. I'm going to use the darker colors towards the top and then the lighter ones towards the bottom. So I'm going to take the ink pad and use the first three darker ones on one end and the first three lighter ones towards the other end. And then that's going to give us a multicolored starburst or firework. These are fireworks, sorry. Alright, so kind of hard to see here because my platform is clear as well, lid is clear, as well as the stamps. But once we press them down and press the images onto the cardstock, you'll see, I'll pick it up so you can get a quick look, that we have shades of blue on these fireworks. My camera's going to try to focus. It's more focusing on the pattern paper behind us than the fireworks. So I'm going to place it again into our platform, and this time I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment, the Happy New Year. I'm going to get that centered in between our two fireworks here. That's the image we're going to be stamping, or the sentiment. And I'm going to get it as centered as possible. And I'm using the grid lines on my paper that I have here. It's a laminated piece of grid paper to line up my sentiment. So now I'm going to pick it up with the lid, and I'm going to use our Versamark ink to stamp this down. I'm going to remove my lid so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. And since I haven't used this before, I'm just going to rub my fingers across the stamp just to remove any residue that might be there from shipping, and so that the ink adheres nicely to it. So here's our Versamark ink, and I'm going to ink it up. Now this is a nice sticky ink. It's great for watermarking, so if you want to do a tone on tone on your project, then you just ink it up and stamp it down and do nothing else to it. Let it dry and it's all good. But it's very sticky, so our embossing powder will stick to it. So I'm getting that nice and inked up. And I'm going ahead and stamp it down. And I'm going to press firmly, but not too hard, just nicely across. Holding my paper, it moved just a tad, but I fix it. And I see that the little bit in the middle didn't quite get enough ink. I didn't press hard enough. So I'm going to ink it up again and press it one more time. I'm just mostly working the center. And there it's now, you can see that it's watermarked on there, so it's all inked up. So that's a watermark design. So if you wanted to do a tone on tone, you can see it turns the paper slightly darker. But since we're going to emboss, I'm going to remove the card panel from the stamping platform. And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on our embossing powder. This again is in Shimmering Night Sky. And has these beautiful shades of blue, several shades of blue and silver and white in it. It's very beautiful and sparkly. I'm going to sprinkle that on, and I'm going to shake off the excess. And yes, I forgot to use my anti-static tool. Luckily, the embossing powder only stuck to the Versamark ink. I'm going to put in all my extra embossing powder back into the bag, and I'll close that up and get it out, remove it out of our way. And I'm going to use my heat tool to set this. And I'm going to heat from the bottom and then on top. That'll keep it from warping. Okay, so I lost a little bit of footage here. I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So what you missed is me sprinkling on, heat setting the embossing and then sprinkling on the IrResistible spray. I didn't spray it. I just pulled out the nozzle and I just tapped it on and gave little splatters. And I also adhered my jewels across my card here. I put 2 larger jewels on the center of each of our firework and 3 smaller ones around our sentiment, just to bring your eye across the card. I'm going to give you a little close-up here of what that IrResistible looks like, because it adds this beautiful dimension to your card. I didn't want a lot of it. I just wanted just a little more sparkles to give us more of that night sky. As you can see, I did those little droplets and it gave us that nice dimension. So again, let's go over the products we used. We used the Kaleidacolor Blue Breeze. I also use it for my inside sentiment, which reads, "Wishing you a less stressful year." Versamark embossing watermark ink, embossed powder in Shimmering Night Sky for our sentiment, Tarot tape to put our card panels together, on point glue to adhere our jewels, and that IrResistible spray to add that little bit of shimmer to our background. And again, I want to apologize that I missed that portion. I didn't realize my camera had turned off. So there's our New Year's card, and I used again the sentiment and images from the Maker's Movement Sarcastic New Year's set. Is maybe move our card into frame so you can take a better look at it. And I will have, as always, everything listed in the description box below. I would like to thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you like and subscribe to our channel and follow the rest of the design team with all the wonderful projects they have to share with you. And I wish you all a happy new year.